Second to find the video, I'm going to be talking about the inner child today, and it's also crown chakra week, so I'll kind of wrap that up in one video. Give me a second to share this out. I saw a post hit the wall talking about inner child healing, so I thought I would talk a little bit about the type of things that can wound our our inner child, and how that can lead to how it just kind of creates distortions in how we see reality. So give it a sec till some people find us, and I'll get started. I'll just start with the light workers, the healers, the people that are awake during this time are going to play an important role in this ascension. So if you've been awakened, you know, you're going to play an important role with what is happening with this shift in consciousness that we're ultimately going through. A lot of the people that are awake now had a lot of trauma and karma that they saw in their lives to lead them to this place where we're all kind of in these areas having these chats about healing. It's pretty powerful because a lot of people are still going through those third dimensional type of lessons. I would say that a lot of the light workers or starseeds, or you know, whatever you resonate as, the people that are awake had much harder paths in ensuring that we would wake up and that we would get spiritual. I guess I'll start out by saying that, you know, this journey through life puts us through many stages of consciousness, and when we're a small child, from when you're born until you're like 3, you're getting programmed by the people around you, your environment, and usually you're mostly at home with your parents. So a lot of the programming that you just kind of pick up naturally comes from your parents. Until you're about the age of 7, you're actually in an altered state of consciousness, and you're having a very egocentric type of experience, right? Welcome to Earth School. I love thinking that kids don't know that you have to work for money to buy things, right? They don't understand that they're going into slavery as soon as they get out of school, and school is probably to prepare them for that future working in prison planet. They don't understand these concepts. So what can happen is you can have a small child and their parents are angry because they're stressed out about their job and their finances and things going on in life. You have a child and they're very vibrationally sensitive, picking up on these vibrations. They're going to think their parent is angry at them, or it's something that they're doing, or maybe it was their behavior earlier. They're not understanding all the external kind of things. And the problem is that since we're falling into our programming at that time, it influences how we see people and how we see the world. You know, if you had a very abusive, traumatic childhood, it will probably affect your love life and your relationships in dealing with people. So a lot of these things that affect us as a child really can influence our programming and how we see the world later. Okay, I'm not getting too into karma this chat, but I feel that we had our childhood experiences as a reflection of our karmic past. These are just a reflection of we went through this cycle. Like, humanity was very asleep, very disconnected spiritually, very in the material for almost this entire cycle. There were a lot of times that were very dark in past places during this cycle, you know. So that was just a small reflection of what we've been through this entire cycle. So I know people had a lot of really crazy experiences. Good morning, Kathleen, in getting here. That's just a glimpse of what we went through this whole cycle. So you could have had some type of childhood trauma where maybe you had alcoholic parents, right? And it could bring back a lot of trauma from this cycle. You may have had those circumstances more than once in your entire, you know, existence going through here too. In whatever regard, the people that were parenting us were asleep. We're only seeing this awakening occurring now, right? We're only seeing the energetic dynamics change. So these were places at very low densities, very low frequencies. And our parents, at any rate, I don't care whose parents we're talking about, were not able to connect in the same way that people can when they're awake and conscious. When people are asleep, they're still having a very egocentric type of experience where they're only seeing themselves. And a lot of time they're not even noticing other people's feelings or, right, or the vibrations coming off of people and things like that. As children coming to this planet, we came here with certain abilities. A lot of the people in these areas are indigo souls. Highly intuitive, very sensitive to vibrations, frequencies, energies, things like that. So we came with these abilities. And when you're a child, you're in that pure state of source energy, right? Before we got all contaminated and stuff. And so we were very tuned into these natural gifts we brought with us. So a lot of the people in these areas would have been extra sensitive as children around any type of toxic, vibrations or toxic situations. Good morning, Connie. We're talking about inner child healing. I'm going to try to give you guys a couple techniques for if you guys have, issues. I think we all do. I try to have more fun. That's my favorite way that, I don't like to... You have to be very careful in going in the Akashic and trying to heal past places or situations because we needed these experiences to become who we are. You can always send yourself Reiki in the past, but the harm was done. Here we are, right? We went through this experience already and we don't want to alter what happened in any way because you wouldn't be who you are. And these lessons were needed on a soul level. So we don't want to undo the learning that we did or the lessons that we did. It's better to heal yourself in the now. I always say try to have more fun. What does your inner child want to do? Probably not Prison Planet. What would the child inside of you like to do? I like to kind of go back to who I was as a child too, right? Because before I got indoctrinated into this is how you're going to be in the world when I was just playing by myself. And I used to play in a lot of water. I'm always saying I used to play mermaids a lot, right? I was playing mermaids and building grids with the rocks and playing Atlantis, right? As a kid, before I got all screwed up in this matrix, right? So I know that we got really jacked up going through this matrix and these lessons. And don't think anyone had it any better than we did. That we went through crazy examples. I love how people are so judgmental around here, but we went through some crazy lessons and it's been a ride. Just getting us to this place. But understand it's for the greater good of all, and that now when people wake up, they need to heal. And that's what's bringing people to unity. This need to collectively heal on a lot of levels is part of the design. Try to have more fun, run around. Do things only kids would do, right? You know what's really healing a lot of people's inner child? A lot of people have children in these groups. A lot of people have these special kids. I have to think what kind of child would choose to incarnate during this time with so much craziness because things are going to start to happen rapidly. And I have to think what kind of kids are picking to come to Earth. Probably very special, gifted souls with a lot of healing abilities because, there's a need to heal this whole planet. And a lot of the people, these children, are reminding you to have fun and, and to do more fun things, right, on so many levels. Alright, we all can just say that our inner child didn't get enough love. What does that do? And these are by people that didn't know any better. This was just the way the world was. May I remind you, people used to beat their kids 100 years ago. And this was just the way things were, as you recall. We had a lot of religion and fear, and this was the way people were raising their children. There's a lot of booze involved usually. That's just normal, right? A lot of bad marriages. And it doesn't matter, you're married, right? And this was just reality on this planet, like normal life, right? And a lot of people were used to that, toxic environments in their households and things like that. And so the world is shifting, people are waking up, and we're supposed to be inspiring people to change, but that is a good reflection of our past lives and the pain that we went through this cycle. So, we didn't get the love that we needed as children. I feel this could be affecting people's love lives and relationships because of our programming. A lot of people saw negative, bad relationships because their parents probably didn't have good relationships. And then it becomes normal and are more apt to fall into these same situations. So, the stuff that you went through as a kid can really affect you in the now. I had a lot of programming where my parents had a pretty toxic relationship and should have ran away, right? They should have ran away from each other, and couldn't, and were very codependent on some level. And I noticed that I'm very fast to run away this life. It's not going good. Okay, I'm reading the signs and I'm out of here. And those were qualities that I wish my mother would have had as a child. So we tend to go through our childhood experiences and to hopefully develop the strengths that our parents didn't have. Our job is to, transmute that karma on some level, and those are karmic patterns. Like, however your parents were raising you was probably how their parents raised them on some level, and it's just kind of continuing down the bloodline, a lot of very toxic traits that aren't good. And our job was to come experience that and to change. So if any of you guys are parenting, hopefully you're doing a better job. You're doing it awake, These people aren't able to love another because they can't love themselves, right? So a lot of times, instead of loving their kids, these people that are miserable and need healing are projecting their fears, their worries, their, whatever it is, their pain on their children. I was someone who picked up a lot of pain in the households that I was growing up in as a child from my family, because I'm very intuitively sensitive and I feel pain as my own from another. So if you're in these toxic environments, a lot of us with the abilities that we're having, we're picking up a lot of that unhealed pain off of our parents on so many levels. We see a lot of people in these areas have been trying to act like the parent. You could have been a real small child and either taking care of your siblings or trying to parent your parents. We came here capable of this unconditional love. It's like our superpower, right? We came here, with this unconditional love, these abilities to see the bigger picture. But when we were asleep and going through this matrix, we had a very ego-based perspective of what was happening, right? We didn't understand. We were spiritually cut off from this knowledge. Now we just understand life and the process and what's going on. But when we were having these experiences asleep, we didn't understand these things. A lot of people that are living very in ego have a very wounded inner child. We can take the narcissist archetype, since it's so popular in these spiritual communities, our favorite topic. Me and Kathleen's favorite topic lately. We will take the narcissist because that is someone who is living in extreme ego. They probably have zero to no empathy and closed heart chakra. I look at a lot of people that are sleeping with those qualities. That can be very draining, because if you have a closed crown chakra, you may be an energy vampire, not even aware of it or trying. You might just be very draining for people, and we see a lot of that in the matrix, right? With just sleeping people, they're not aware of it. So we see the narcissist. This would be someone living completely in ego with no concern for others. A lot of times, medically anyway, they say that's caused by childhood trauma on some level, not getting the love that we needed as a child. It can create these power struggles in a lot of ways. A lot of people that had a lot of childhood trauma grow up with zero boundaries too. People pleasers, looking for love in the wrong places. Time to break these cycles. Yeah, this is just normal. So we see that there are shifts going on though with what's going on. So let's talk triggers. Triggers represent these inner wounds, right? Things that trigger you, really upset you. I trigger a lot of people too, right? I know to seem to trigger people too. It's my job as a shaman though. I'm supposed to be kind of showing you areas that we could be working on, right? Alright, so the triggers are usually your teachers. A lot of people get triggered by their kids. I think I was really triggering as a kid, right? For people too. These children with abilities may be triggering people. We come here with these healing abilities. So a lot of these parents, just were getting very triggered because they had a lot of unhealed aspects. Couldn't deal with their kids, right? Welcome to the third dimension. And so now we're seeing conscious parenting happening. And that's what's going to break these cycles on this planet. We see conscious parenting happen for the first time ever since, Atlantis, I say. This is the first time our planet will be in these frequencies. We have the Schumann resonance doing crazy things. I forget what it was hitting yesterday, but it's like every day steadily increasing. You can see what's happening on the planet. But with that awakening, people are purging out a lot of their childhood programming, memories from their childhood. You could have toxic family members around you now that you're trying to deal with. I find that a lot of these sleeping parents have no concern for their children's feelings at all. Like no concern at all for how other people are feeling a lot of the time too. So, you know, our feelings weren't being taken into consideration. Hi, Stephanie. I'm so happy it's Friday. Our feelings weren't being taken into consideration. And what happens, like I used the example of a child not understanding their parents are upset about like bills and work, and they come home from work and they're in a shit mood. And the child, since they're so young, will just assume it's their fault. They must have done something. Their parent must be upset with them just because of our viewpoint. So what happens is that child grows up, turns into an adult, and then they're in a relationship and their partner comes home in a bad mood because they're stressed out about their job or just life because it's hard on Prison Planet. And we assimilate that as, I must be doing something wrong. I must, you know, not be worthy of love. It must be me causing this person's frustration. So it really becomes our programming. The best way to heal your inner child, number one, we're becoming consciously aware of it. How can we heal if we're not aware of this stuff, right? So that's the best thing, that we're awake and we're consciously aware now. And that's the best thing ever. We still have that aspect of us. And I love, there's a meme somewhere, I forget what it says, that says you can't turn into the goddess if you're still, you know, the wounded inner child. And so we're meant to heal ourselves on every level, but we needed those experiences, and now hopefully you understand the process. So that really is healing in itself, to go from the victim, yes, because that child was the victim. Yes, that we had that programming, that we had the awful parents, that we had, you know, this abuse, this mistreatment of us, and it shaped us into that victim personality, and that's what they wanted. And at some point when we have this spiritual awakening, it should put us into that state of empowerment. And they have so much victim programming in the Matrix. And don't worry, your parents were playing the victim about their parents too. And I'm sure it just was keeping on going like it was everyone else's fault, and zero accountability. But we're meant to break those chains and to heal those things. So this planet wasn't strong enough to do this, and we came here and we picked very hard bloodlines. If you look at your parents' lessons, they were not able to break those karmic patterns. They had lessons they hadn't mastered. And when we came here, we took on those lessons. We took on their negative, toxic traits, patterns, so that we could kind of break these cycles through this soul spiritual alchemy that we're doing. Hi Jack, we're healing your inner child. Perfect. I'm going to do inner child activations on this wall. You guys should open up more, talk more about, I don't even know, your lives, what you're going through. Look what it's done for me. And just opening up about my ascension experiences, it's really helped a lot of people and myself. Open up more, because then we don't know how to help you around here, and there's so many souls that are of service around here that are just here just to help with ascension. So that's helpful. I'll be doing next week, it'll be perfect energy. I'll do inner child healing activations on this wall for the people that have paid our little yearly membership fee. We're like halfway through the year. Hopefully everyone's on board with that. Christine, lessons are getting crazy. Okay, people are going through a lot of shit. People have these experiences that have shaped them. People with these judgments, they see the world through a certain lens, in a distorted way. We tend to see the world and other people very distorted, not as they are, because we aren't able to have all of the information here of like what someone's going through, you know, everything they have been through in such a way. And a lot of this goes back to our childhood programming. If your parents drank, you need to stay away from alcohol, hopefully. If you're, you know, if you had an abusive situation as a child, avoid toxic partners. A lot of times we try to recreate what we're comfortable with, and the ego's comfortable with those programs. As miserable as it may be, it feels safe and secure in these programs. Be careful that you're not recreating things that are not good for you. I'm sending you guys good vibes. I wasn't going to do a video today, but then I just came on here. It's Friday. It's Friday. The kids are coming back for the weekend. And I was just kind of wrapping my week up anyway. I'm going to Stonehenge next week. We have a crazy full moon. We have a ride next week. Rest up a little. We have a ride starting Monday, and I'm ready for it. Roller coaster ride. We have like a K3 energy right now, the next like 3 days. And literally, we're going on a ride. We're going to have the summer solstice, which opens up some type of galactic center porthole. I'm not really sure. And we're going to get flooded with crazy energy. We're like in a steady K3 the next few days. If anyone had childhood trauma Bad childhood, everyone better raise their hand, right? I have some homework that maybe can help you clear this. I've actually been doing a lot of healer training. I'm getting taught a lot of techniques and going into the Akashic and clearing past circumstances. The best way to do this is that you could either write a letter or a journal entry talking to your inner child, you know, to heal it. You can send yourself Reiki on those timelines, do more fun things, just be consciously aware of these things, maybe write down in the ways that you felt wronged, not loved, how you felt as a child, go burn it, get rid of it. It's time to let this stuff go and see the big picture. We took on a lot of collective karma because we're warriors and badasses. We took on like the worst lessons, a lot of collective karma to come clear it for humanity so that we could be doing this shift right now. And it's very, very powerful. So we did have a lot of really bad experiences. A lot of healing your inner child comes through self-love, that we need to give ourselves love. We're never going to get it from anyone, especially our parents, the people outside of us. We need to learn how to love ourselves. So we're getting ready for some roller coaster rides. It's real windy here. Good, I'm sending you guys good vibes. I'm not going to do my real video today, I don't think, but I'm just on here anyway. We're talking inner child issues. It's a really good time to let go of this stuff because we're purging right now. And until like the full moon, people might not be vibing, you know, 100% where they're at. You could be kind of having purge symptoms or letting go of stuff. So we are doing some releasing. We also have that full moon manifesting energy here. So for sure, try to release this stuff now. We're going to have to anyway. The energy can be bringing up a lot of this stuff. I'm trying to think of what else, right? Trying to think of what else. I know I'm all unorganized. Like I said, I wasn't going to go live, but I wanted to send out some really good vibes. And this is a good space to come together and heal. I always look at these spaces like I'm trying to recreate these mystery school spaces where we would learn and heal and things like that. So this is a good space to talk about this. If you guys have other things you want me to put on video, I am open to talk about like anything. For sure, find me if there's things that you want me to discuss in this space. All right, now I'm going to switch topics really fast and work on the crown. This is our crown chakra week in this group. I know I've been kind of slacking with some of these spaces, but I've been going through some serious upgrades over here in my own life and some serious shifts. So I'm kind of getting back into these spaces. The energy next week, like starting Monday, is going to go from that head space back down to the root chakra. And so it's really important, like especially like maybe this week, it's almost over, for the weekend, maybe pray more, maybe meditate more, you know, work on that crown chakra, get outside, get some fresh air, you know, connect with source. And when the energy starts to shift starting like Monday, really work on staying grounded. We need to connect with Gaia. Well, we're all ascending around here, and Gaia's doing a better job with her ascension, apparently, than we are. I'm seeing a lot of UFO stuff hit the mainstream news, too. I'm real excited about it. I just saw, like, 100 articles that were all, like, within the past month on UFO sightings. The military having, not just in this country, but in other countries, having to change how they take reportings on UFOs. And I love it, because if the military is so fast to say, especially in America, that UFOs don't exist, then why do they have all of these, you know, special circumstances and reporting, you know, things occurring, right? For them not believing in such a phenomenon, they seem to have entire districts, you know, supposed to be like taking these reports and doing things about it. So we're seeing a lot of UFO sightings, and we're seeing them make like mainstream news, and we're seeing major shifts in UFO kind of stuff and cannabis right now. I think that we had a legit government in America report saying that by 2020 we might have like UFOs landing on this planet and stuff like that. So we're seeing a lot of UFO alien stuff kind of sweep through consciousness, as well as cannabis as the solution for the healing stuff that's going on this planet. Love watching it. So in India it's real hot. I guess they have their roads melting off. Like, we have crazy things happening with the weather, which I've been tracking for a few years. It's nothing new. So we're seeing a lot of heat waves. I'm still waiting for the one that's supposed to hit Europe in the UK. Right? I'm still waiting. It's still like, it's almost summer. Where's the heat wave? But we're seeing a lot of heat waves. And I know the scientists are saying this is global warming, but I just believe that the Earth is, you know, shifting its frequency, going up in vibration, and also purging out low frequency kind of stuff. For sure, we're seeing some fire energy sweep the planet. And, you know, like I said, this full moon is in Sagittarius. Alright, I'm getting off of here. I did want to come say hi, though. Yes, what you have, Cam says, what you have on the inside, you dig up like hidden treasure. And, you know, we're just tuning in. Like, we're going to get more and more tuned in, too. I know a lot of people are always frustrated with this process and where it's taking us, you know. But we're going to continue to go up in frequency. This isn't something I'm always saying that can be done overnight. That, you know, if you tried that, you wouldn't work. So we're doing this gradually, but we are going up in frequency. Like I said, Gaia is doing a better job with her ascension than any of us. So get out into nature, connect with the earth. I've been needing to have our windows open all the time here to let that wind in. Usually I'm like hiding from it. I've been needing to have all our windows open, even though it's really, really cold here. Like all the time, just to get the fresh air in here, because I'm inside a lot working and things like that. But try to get outside more. I'm going to have some really fun feeds to do next week, which I'm excited about. I'm going traveling. Like the gypsy travelers that I think are like time travelers. I'm going traveling. And it's going to be real, real crazy too. I have, I'm going to Stonehenge. I'll be there for like Thursday and Friday. I'll get to record at night. But I'm going back there in a few weeks later to do like a, I guess it's like a private ceremony where they do some type of blessing at the rocks. And I'm really looking forward to that one too, because it's at night and it's really hard to get rock access at night. So at the least I'll be doing one nighttime video there, and I'm really excited because I wasn't able to last time. And I'm really excited though to check out that perspective. This will be the 4th time I've been to Stonehenge. You know, I've been every season since I've gotten here. And it'll be the first time I've gotten to check it out at night. And the stars there are amazing. I've been camping there a few times, and the stars are so mind-blowing. Like, the sky's a lot lower here. You can really see the stars, and I'm really looking forward to going there. And it just creates such a crazy energy. Alright, so I'm doing that next week. I'm doing my usual, gypsy traveler. I'm like time travelers. They're like unplugged. They live like, you know, like 5D existences. I'm telling Catherine, because she's going to be at the rocks too with her family this time. And I was telling her, I was like, listen, these are like, I don't even know. They're unplugged. They're like time travelers. They've already mastered 5D. But when you go to the rocks during those solstices times and equinoxes, it's like being in a fairy realm. It's literally in another realm. And the type of people that are drawn there and go there, it's like as close to 5D as you could get on this planet during those times and the energy being generated. And it's almost like being in a fairy or elemental realm here, I always describe it as, but it really is. It's clearly another realm, another dimension in time, and it's really mind-blowing, the energy. So I love sharing my perspective and going there and videoing it too. It's always real crazy. So I'll be doing that. We can use these timelines to make some major shifts this week. Like whether it's healing shifts, things you need to clear, things you need to release. I know we're always working on the material and manifesting, but it's really important that we're working on our energy and on point. A lot of you guys are feeling like big things are about to happen on this planet, and you're right. It's very important that our energy is on point and we're where we need to be spiritually. So continue to release any of this old stuff from your childhood. It's really helpful to me. I could not possibly like inventory my whole life up until this point. It's just easier to let it all go. like I let yesterday go. I barely remember yesterday, right? And here I am, and every day I have a new start. And I'm also very in 5D time, where I usually lose track of like what day it is, what month it is, what time it is, right? Very kind of in that other state of time. Let go of all of your lessons. Understand them. Yes, you needed them all to understand this planet, to be shaped into the light worker you're meant to be, to awaken you most of all. That you came here and you took on that programming and was very sleep and closed off to consciousness. In whatever regard, those lessons were what your soul picked to conquer and to wake you up. So, you know, you guys are warriors. You've conquered so much. Don't ever look at it like you're the victim of that programming. That was programming that we took on to conquer it, because we have this spiritual strength that other people don't have around us. So if anything, have compassion for the people that have wronged you. Have compassion for your parents, for the people that were asleep that treated you bad. They don't have this spiritual understanding. They're at a different place. They're hurt. You would never hurt another unless you were hurt inside on whatever level. So I know we've had a lot of people, you know, attack us, wrong us, create harm even as children and things like that. But these people just don't have this understanding of their actions. People are so disconnected spiritually. They don't understand that when they're harming another, they're harming themselves. They don't understand karma. They just don't have this spiritual understanding. Have compassion for the people that are asleep. Because, you know, people are going to have two choices that it's going to get to a certain space where people can choose to awaken and change and evolve fast. And let's face it, the people that aren't doing this inner work are going to have to be playing catch up very fast. Like my boyfriend, he's doing a real rapid detox because he hasn't been as awake as long as me or some of the other people, right? So he's playing catch up. But the people that are really asleep, are they capable of doing this work so fast to catch up? Or will they go somewhere else to learn? Have compassion for the people that aren't awake right now. And be grateful that we are awake. That's like everything that we have is that we're aware of this stuff. We've come back to this knowledge. And this stuff transforms lives. We're watching our lives change. So, you know, I know everyone's at different places, but definitely have compassion and understanding for these people, these lessons. These were lessons that they needed too. Oh, we volunteered to come here and be treated bad. We volunteered to come here and be treated bad by these people. Yes, we volunteered to be abused, treated bad, you know, in whatever way. And that was something these other people learning with us needed for their story. Maybe they could feel bad about their actions later. Some of these people might feel very bad about their actions too. They might not admit it. But, you know, I'm sure that they feel bad about some of the things that went on in their lives, not having this conscious awareness, right, of the process. They might even feel bad. It might be, you know, turning them into a different person, spiritual, we don't know. So these were lessons that all souls involved needed. A lot of us have been teaching hard lessons, you know, from young ages as these spiritual influencers that we are too. So more releasing, more letting go of this stuff. Seriously, if you guys do have toxic family members around you, I feel for you. But, you know, don't allow anyone to treat you badly, even if they're related to you. That's part of this, that we need boundaries. So, if you guys still have people that you consider